This year's Game Awards were an embarrassment. While there's a ton of games that were shown off that got me really excited for the next couple of years, there's also a lot of developers that are outraged by how little time they had to even accept their awards in the first place, how little spotlight was given to the people that these awards were actually for. Now, I realize that a lot of other people are already talking about this, but there's a lot of things that need to be said that aren't being said. And that's what we're going to do today. With numerous developers and industry observers expressing their dissatisfaction towards how the event was conducted, this year's Game Awards may go down as the worst one yet. The primary concern for both viewers and developers was the limited time that was allocated for award-winning developers to deliver their acceptance speeches. In many instances, developers were given less than 30 seconds to express their gratitude, talk about future projects, and show appreciation for their teams, which by many was perceived as a lack of respect for the people that contributed to the industry that these awards were for. What makes matters worse is how it starkly contrasted with the longer segments that were devoted to celebrity and promotional content. Haley Elise, via Twitter, conducted an analysis of the 2023 Game Awards airtime allocation, revealing that trailers and advertisers dominated the show, taking up an hour and a half of the total runtime. In stark contrast, the total time that was given to winners amounted to about 10 minutes. That statistic is striking, considering that the overall length of the event was 3 hours. It should be noted as well that even non-English speaking award winners that had to use a translator weren't given enough time to give proper thanks, as we saw with the director of Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Personally, I felt like there was an issue when Neil Newman, the voice actor for Astarion, went up to receive his award. It was obvious that he couldn't catch his breath. You could see how much he appreciated the award and the moment, but it was immediately taken from him right when he wanted to talk about how supportive the Baldur's Gate 3 community had been over the time of the game's release. In response to this, Jeff Keighley, the one that runs the Game Awards, responded by saying, "By the way, I do agree that the music was played too fast for award winners this year, and I asked our team to relax the rule as the show went on. While no one was actually cut off, it's something to address going forward." But saying no one was cut off is a bit of a play on words. No, you didn't technically cut anybody's mic off, but in the middle of their speeches, you're flashing a sign saying, "Wrap it up." And then on top of that, you're also playing music over them while they're talking. I think the most egregious moment of all of this was actually when Sven Vinko went up to receive the Game of the Year award. Right in the middle of it, when he's trying to talk about how they lost one of their team members during development, they immediately start playing the music and flashing the sign. He didn't even get the opportunity to even make the announcement that the Xbox version of Baldur's Gate 3 was going to be dropping that day of the award show, which was one of the things that they had been hinting on Twitter leading up to the event. You know, sitting back and thinking about it, with all of the advertisements and celebrity endorsements, my question I'm sitting here asking myself is, who was this event for? Because it didn't feel like it was for the gamers, and it really didn't feel like it was for the developers. This year's event seemed to significantly diverge from what many would consider as the heart and soul of the occasion, a celebration and appreciation of the hard work and creativity of game developers. Instead, the event appeared more like a marketing blitz, prioritizing trailers of upcoming games and celebrity segments over actually acknowledging the contributions of those who create games in the first place, which then raises concerns about whether this event is truly serving its intended audience, or even if the Game Awards knows who that audience is. The gaming community and developers alike might expect the awards to have some sort of balance between upcoming titles and a stronger emphasis on recognizing and appreciating the hard work that's been put in over the last year of games. We've come a long way from the days of the Game Awards being on Spike TV, treated as a way for Hollywood to make fun of the gaming community rather than appreciate the medium. I realize that there is a desire from the developers to want to be recognized by the entertainment industry, but by focusing on spectacle and marketing over appreciating the people that actually make the industry what it is, it's not what the audience wants, nor is it what the developers deserve. For me, this year's Game Awards was meant to be something special, because this year it wasn't about live service games. Heck, most of the games that were up there didn't even have microtransactions. We're talking about a year of games that commanded respect in an industry that hasn't respected the player in God knows how long. This is a year that we got Final Fantasy XVI, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, and the list goes on and on. A ton of these games could have been Game of the Year of their own right any other year if it wasn't for Baldur's Gate 3. However, with all of the marketing blitz and the celebrity endorsements, this year's Game Awards just kind of came off like a Call of Duty battle pass. immersion-breaking crossovers, soulless marketing and entertainment, force-feeding us every bit of engagement and marketing value they possibly can squeeze out of us, rather than it being a cherry on top to one of the best years we've seen in gaming in a long time. You know what? Speaking of Call of Duty, let's go Scorched Earth.
To the script, no 8-minute speech like last year. But fun fact, my speech was actually longer than this year's Call of Duty campaign. What?
Now, while I'm deducting points for his delivery, this joke was well worth saying, and honestly, I thought it would just live and die in the moment. It's Call of Duty, after all. Everyone knows the state of the game. Everyone knows that Activision treats it like an EA Sports game. Call of Duty is the poster child for everything going wrong in the gaming industry. Their battle passes literally have battle passes. Their Fortnite-ification is destroying player immersion by including skins from The Boys, Kevin Durant, Lilith from Diablo, and hell, you just want to be a bunch of cats? However, their most egregious act yet was the release of Modern Warfare 3, a game so obviously half-baked that you could tell it was meant to be an expansion, not a full-price $70 game. Where even at one point, players went to go to play the game and were asked to insert the Modern Warfare 2 disc. But it seems like Judge's joke hit a soft spot with a few Call of Duty developers, and they felt like they needed to speak out in some now-deleted tweets. Former Call of Duty developer Ajinkya Lamai tweeted saying, "Funny, but yeah, the metrics that Call of Duty absolutely destroys God of War games, probably combined TBH," followed by Associate Art Director Nelson Plumy saying, "Imagine having short user engagement once your game is consumed." Can't relate. This is the most mask-off, unaware thing that I've read in a long time. Metrics. Don't you guys just love hearing about metrics? How the developers only care about the plots on a graph, the revenue extracted, rather than how much enjoyment the players receive from playing the game that they made? God, doesn't that just warm the heart? This is something that I would more expect to hear from the people above them, not the actual developers themselves. It's just disgusting. The lack of awareness of the fact that you guys have a game that you have to put out every single year to even keep that engagement up in the first place. Meanwhile, Fortnite made one game. What are you doing? Even to go further than that, imagine having short user engagement once your game is consumed. Can't relate. No, you actually can't relate, because God of War is an actual good single-player experience, whereas Modern Warfare 3 isn't. I want to point out a now-deleted tweet from another Call of Duty developer, Darcy Sandel, who said, "Honestly, as COD developers, we've heard way worse, but we don't expect this from a peer at an event that's supposed to be celebrating this year's achievements in gaming, especially with all the information that was leaked about its development." After receiving harsh comments and threats, she deleted the tweet and later responded saying, "But I stand by this completely. The chronic overworking, brutal deadlines, and ruthless layoffs that are completely rampant in our industry in the name of making profit regardless of human cost is an absolute disgrace. Also, I should apologize to Chris Judge. There's a good chance that those words were not his, and I should have considered that sooner. And to call out big companies on a public stage is an absolutely terrifying thing to do, and is not his responsibility." I'll be honest, when I saw her initial tweet, I wanted to be reactionary, because, well, that's how I can be sometimes. I think that's how we all can be sometimes. But when I went later to go check for the tweet and it was gone, and then I saw her later responses, a lot of things started to make sense. And one of the things that needs to be taken away is, looking at Judge's joke, it's something that needs to happen. Whether it's developers, publishers, studios, voice actors, whoever, they need to have the ability to speak up about work conditions in the industry. They need to be able to speak up about the quality of games that are being delivered to the customer. And if they're not able to do that, then nothing ever gets better. This year was still special because the games that received awards were games that actually provided value to the players. They were games that actually respected the players. They were games that were made by people that cared about what they did, that put their heart and soul into it. And we saw that. We saw it on stage for what little time we got to see. But we also saw that throughout the year as they released the games, and also any other information around the games and their development before they put that game out. I hate to say it, but Chris's joke and the physical awards that were given were the best part of this. I really wish there was more to it. There could have been more value pulled from this year's Game Awards, especially talking about working conditions in the industry, especially talking about all the layoffs that they've had this year. But more than anything, putting the focus on, this is what great games are. This is how successful games are made today. It's not microtransactions. It's not battle passes. It's just people putting their heart and soul into something that they love, and then the players connect with it. We resonate with it, and we enjoy it. And as a result, well, it becomes game of the year. Anyway, hope you guys dig the video. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a comment down below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Outside of that, I'm going to get out of here. I got some games to play. I'm going to do some honor mode, Baldur's Gate 3. Wish me luck. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe, my friends, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.